Everything's here. It's like it's his first film, but it's like it's such a Michael Mann movie.
Is that his first film, or
It's his first movie.
It's his first big
first
feature.
Oh,
Yeah,
what did he do before this?
probably shorts and other things.
What was it called? Police Squatters Crime Story or something?
Well, obviously
Was
Miami
he on
Vice.
television? Was he on TV?
Or was this before
Yeah.
Miami Vice?
Oh, okay.
No,
Did he
Miami,
do the-
Vice was, Miami Vice was after this.
Oh,
But it was the movie adaptation of Miami Vice. He didn't have anything to do with the original show, did he?
Yeah,
Yes, he did. He was the producer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Miami Vice. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't watch Miami Vice, so I didn't
He
know.
didn't. He didn't direct. As far as I understand, he didn't direct the TV show, but he created it and produced
He
it.
did the
Okay.
first episode.
Also,
I
Miami
Okay, he
Vice
might have directed
was-
the first episode.
it was
yeah.
You know what
show- it
struck
was
me,
a-
guys?
What?
Was looking on Wikipedia at his filmography. It's like it's pretty short.
Yeah,
He hasn't made a lot of
good.
movies.
He hasn't made a ton of movies. It's like,
But they're almost all so
he
good.
was right after Last of the Mohicans. Like
This
that was the
Yeah.
next.
the next one, The Keep or The Mohicans? Which
The
one was
Keep
that?
comes after. The Keep comes after this.
This,
And it's-
then the Keep, then Manhunter.
The
Yeah,
Manhunter,
yeah, Manhunter and Mohicans and this, right?
I think
Or
Mohicans is one
and then
of-
Heat.
I think Mohicans is one of the best
Heat.
films that came out of America in that whole decade. I thought it was just an amazing film.
Yeah, and
it-
Heat
you-
is like
it-
Heat.
it didn't have rooftops and guys looking at maps and pointing at things. It actually made it very original feeling.
He didn't have a rooftop to fall back.
No,
on.
he didn't.
There's never been a shootout scene like in the middle of Heat ever.
Oh my
No,
God!
No,
like,
it changed
ever.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
This had some elements of that, though. You can feel it being developed a little bit in this film.
It's like a
Mhm.
primitive Michael Mann movie. It's like everything's there, but it's a
Proto
little
Michael
rough.
Mann movie.
It's a little rough.
For some reason, I love it almost more for that because I sort of feel like he's raw and he's like it's almost like the same reason I love Rushmore almost as my favorite Wes Anderson
Because
movie
he's discovering it.
yeah, he's like
I can see
I've got
that.
you know like I'm it's really solid and good, but I'm still figuring out where I want to go and what I want to do.
And at the same time, you try really hard because it's your
Well,
first
You know, it's
movie.
like
and-
it's like Badlands and Terrence Malick. It's like
Yeah.
you're still trying to figure
Yeah.
things out. Yeah,
or even Days of Heaven, because Days of Heaven, you know,
was still trying
might
to figure
arguably
things out, yeah.
arguably be his best movie, and it's only his second.
Mhm.
You know, like
No, this was a very satisfying story. It was a little opaque in the middle in terms of the deal and who was in charge of it, but I thought it was really well acted. I thought all the supporting characters were really good.
dude, the acting is so good.
Everybody here has seen this, right?
Never saw it before. This is
Whoa!
yeah, I know.
I can't tell what, Jim.
I'd never seen it before either.
I don't
Oh.
think I'd ever seen it all the way through. Although now that I'm reflecting on it, it's like I feel like I've seen parts of it for sure.
I bought it on Blu-ray like when they just released it like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Criterion?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Criterion.
Oh, no, I've had that for years.
I heard about that. The thing is, it's kind of like this and The Keep. They've been kind of like haven't been improved at all. You know, these are going off old 35 millimeter, intermediate inner positives.
Pretty
So
good.
Well, I just
hopefully
bought like they must have taken it off then. I would like
Yeah,
I
that
would
might
love to
be
see your
true.
physical copy then because I just bought it because they put a little thing out on Instagram saying there's our new releases and Thief was one of them.
Yeah, no, I
That was
bought
about
it
3 months ago, 2 months ago.
years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway. No, but anyway, you guys keep going. I'm going last.
It is good to see James Caan though. Like, it's only what 5 years after Godfather.
Yeah. Oh, if Tad was here,
No. 72 to 81.
he had a short scene in the
9
Godfather
years.
too.
Or
9 years.
70 to 81.
But he did Killer Elite.
Wow,
and
72 is
couple other movies
Godfather.
since it. Harry and Walter go to New York. All in between.
Oh, he's rollerball. Hello.
He kept
Can we
busy.
talk
And
about
Rollerball,
Can we
yes,
talk
yeah.
about how long that safe break scene is behind Scott?
The thermal lance one. You know,
I
if Tad was here, he'd
fucking
be
loved
gushing
it.
about this.
How good was that to draw it out that fucking long? Was it?
I had no problem with the length of that. I thought
I had to look up thermal lance
Fantastic.
on Wikipedia and see how these
well,
things work.
see if
It's just
if
it's a-
Tad were here, he would say this because this is what really happened. Apparently, that first opening break-in, they got there, you know, because Michael Mann does all the research and he talks to
Yeah,
everyone, and they
right.
do all the research and they do all the prep. And literally, when they got there, the cameras were set up, lights are set up, and he just looked at James Caan and goes, "Okay, break into that,
That's
like
cool.
for real, like
Do it."
And they just covered
just
it
do
with
it.
the camera. Well, I'm just
Here's the
lighting the
tools. You
lamps,
have the
pushing it in there.
break into that safe, break
That's
into it
what I
now."
understand.
And they filmed it.
And they filmed it, and it took
All
him
of the crime
a
shit.
lot longer than it is
well,
on
would it take
screen.
it? There's a big hole.
But
that
he
melted that
fucking
thing.
was like, "Okay, I gotta fucking break into
The
this
thing,
fucking safe.
the takeaway from Wikipedia is that using a thermal lens to get into a safe would destroy everything inside the safe.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
So is that just like a big rod of magnesium?
It's a big
Yes.
steel rod that they're pumping gas into and lighting the end.
Oxygen.
The
I
thing
thought they
is,
were pumping
and
It's a
oxygen, so
magnesium
it's
rod through a steel rod that you pump oxygen through.
yeah, it's
Okay,
super
so I figured there was magnesium involved.
but it's burning up like a kind of like a road flare while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Take diamonds
Right.
out. Diamonds.
Well, it's kind of like an electric welding.
Yeah.
And
But
arc
the-
So you're
welding.
saying
Because
that
every
would
time
destroy
I
everything
tried to
inside the
weld,
safe?
I always
and they really
burned
did it too. But he set the whole
Right.
thing up and they burned a real thermal lance and there's smoke everywhere. And had a guy with the
fire extinguisher.
kind of keep the set from catching on fire.
You keep you from burning the place down while you're trying to break into the safe.
It was
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's impressive as hell visually and so and fascinating.
Mhm. Also, I thought the supporting cast was good. I thought Tuesday Weld did a really good job in this.
Yeah,
It's fucking
she's
scene.
really
Yeah,
good.
Tuesday
Remember her
Weld
from,
is
from
like
Dobie
a-
Gillis? She was
Chris, that scene.
That scene.
that scene above that. Where is above a freeway?
Yeah.
But his
Yeah.
fucking his monologue about being in prison is so good.
That's incredible to me.
It is.
It's like that's his courtship scene, and he
Yeah.
yanks her out of a club after he gets there 2 hours late,
Yeah.
forces her into a car, causes a car crash, and then
Uh-huh.
makes her go to the diner. And then he pulls out that piece of paper that he made in prison,
Board.
his mood board,
Yeah, his vision board.
his vision board.
Exactly.
It was the weirdest,
Vision
like,
Quest.
yeah, it was the weirdest courtship scene.
But I
It was
think-
like so Michael Mann, really.
It is, but I also think in a less someone who is less of a director and less of a writer than Michael, playing with that monologue about a person saying what it was like to actually be in prison for 11 years could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, could have.
It could have been contrived, cliche. It could have been overdone, and here
Oh no, it worked.
in the hands of James and Michael, he throws everything away. You know what I mean? And what I mean by, like, anybody who's done any acting or understands that process, John, I know you do, is that he's doing it so it's so unsentimental and not focused upon,
No,
which
No,
is why
because
it works.
because that character, the James Caan character, what's his name, Frank? Yeah, I mean, he's just so
He's-
emotionally closed off.
Right.
That's his big
If he was
emotional
leaning-
scene.
yeah. If he was leaning into that, you would be like
Yeah,
rolling
yeah.
your eyes.
Right.
But
I mean,
because he
perfect for
doesn't,
the
he's
character.
just when he's saying, okay, so word comes down the pipe, the next one is going to be me. So
I wrote some
have
stuff
to,
down
like,
about
it's
him.
just it's so fucking
Well,
good. It's
Michael
like,
Mann is he's got his signature filmmaking thing is he's obsessed with the male psyche. That's what
This is totally that.
that is
Yeah.
and this is the start of that. This is all about how men see the world,
Yes.
how men would like to see the world,
Yes.
their power over people in this world.
there's another vanishing point.
It goes
Chris.
over and over in all
I
his
mean,
movies. It's
he is obviously a smart guy. He's super skilled, he's like hyper competent, right? Which is also typical of Michael Mann films.
very much. There's
The
always one
people in
thing-
these films just own the world that they live in,
Yeah.
and they totally understand it, and they can do so much. But
Well,
he
wait.
actually-
They think they own the world that they live in.
Well, no,
right.
Nathaniel Poe and the Robert De Niro character
They are
from
skilled, but they all
They know
Hero.
everything.
But most of them are going to have the rug pulled out from
Fucks
under them.
up.
at some
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, emotionally, this guy is a simpleton, and he explains it in that monologue to Tuesday Weld, because it's like he spent his formative years basically in prison. So that's
Yes.
the lens.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really a small way.
Imagine going into prison when you're 20.
Yeah.
And coming out when you're 31.
Even
You're
what's
gonna be
What
stunted.
the fuck?
Robert Prosky, the villain, who's great, by the way.
Oh my
He-
god.
when-
He is fantastic.
He
He's
is
fucking
so good in
fantastic.
this.
When he takes him down, when he gives him the, what would you call it?
That, behind Chris,
The
right
wake
there.
up call.
That fucking monologue is one of the best things I've ever seen.
It's incredible. And he
It's-
says the same thing. He says, you're all fucked up because you were in prison, and don't bring that shit to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's
basically
true. It's true. He's a simpleton.
He's good at playing that. If you go and watch
Well, he
Rollerball,
got cut off in his
I-
20s.
James Caan.
He's a big old lummox in Rollerball too.
Yeah, he's so good at doing that.
Well, he's also that in Godfather. He really is.
Yeah.
He's a big.
He is.
step people.
He's the knucklehead, thug-headed brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who gets killed, who gets shot in a million pieces
He
over
throws
at the,
people into trash cans.
in the metal
Right.
lines. Yeah,
Like
Which
that's
is
what he
funny
does.
because in the second movie we have John Cazale, that's
That's
only his
right.
third
That's right.
movie.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
there's this. You know,
Oh my
this is
God.
reminds me a lot of Heat and the idea that Robert De Niro
Also
put forward, that
Goodfellas.
don't do anything that you can't walk away from. And this was
Yes.
him walking away from everything at the end of the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, when he
Tested
burns
this
his
idea
house.
out.
But
in this
remember in
film.
Goodfellas where one of the first things Henry does, like really,
Yes, he blows
as a
up a
criminal,
car, a
is
bunch of cars.
torch a bunch of fucking cars.
Right. Right.
That's true. Was that the same year? No,
No,
That's
Goodfellas?
later.
No.
that's like in the 80s.
Goodfellas 90.
86
That
or
was
something.
90,
Good,
this is
Goodfellas
80.
is like 90,
this
91.
is 81. That's okay. Got it. All right.
I would say this movie kind of operates at Frank's level. It's like here's a movie, textbook example of a lead character that doesn't grow or change. If anything, he's gone backwards. By the end of the movie, he's gone backwards because he's thrown away this attempt at having a normal life with a woman and a child, a wife and a child, and the way he breaks up with her is completely cold-blooded.
But it's almost
But
like the kind of movie where
preserves their lives.
it's almost that kind of
Sure.
movie where we kind of knew he was doomed from the start for some reason.
Maybe so.
I kind of just felt that.
And even though he prevails at the end, he doesn't really because his life's destroyed. It's a weird
partner,
ending.
his best friend and partner gets violently. I mean, by the way, that
yeah.
shootout scene was brutal
Yeah, for sure.
for
sure.
on Belushi.
Also, another great little Jim Belushi performance.
You know what? He was just breaking out back then. This is right
Yeah,
the
yeah.
year after they did the Blues
But
Brothers.
dude,
His brother's shadow.
the effects in this movie
Salvador.
are
Where was Salvador?
Quite
Was
good.
that before or after this?
I think Salvador is like 81 or 82. I'm not sure.
Oh, so right around the same time.
I'm
Yeah, it was
just-
like
I'm
when
impressed
everybody
with
was
the
like going,
effects.
"Hey, Jim Belushi, serious actor."
Yeah,
Salvador was 85.
Oh, later.
was it?
Okay.
85,
It was the year before
sorry.
his cameo in Trading Places.
Right? Yeah, that's a fun movie. No, but I was really impressed with the effects in this movie a lot. Really, like
Yeah,
very good.
they burned shit up and they blew shit up and it was great.
And the
know?
squibs are amazing. The blood is amazing.
Michael Mann
It's-
always gives you he shows you stuff and he gives it to you. He never doesn't fake anything.
I think most of the
Oh, dude,
filmmaking.
I watched Collateral again like last month, and oh my god,
I need to see that again.
oh my god,
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
it just gets better.
I think most of the filmmaking in this one is exemplary, with the exception of the final shootout on the lawn, which just felt to me like one of the Super 8 movies I made in high school, where it was just like, okay, I don't know, let's everybody run and point guns at each other. It was a little goofy.
Well, the slow-mo.
Yeah, the slow-mo didn't help, and then the terrible
but
Edgar Froese guitar solo did
But
not help.
he does that.
Oh.
He does that
It's
slow
literally,
Stop.
it's literally
Okay.
a comfortably numb cover.
No, dude,
Oh, it's so good.
let's go around the horn and who wants to talk about the music in this film?
I so want to talk about the
Go
music.
for it, John.
Dude, I've owned the record, the soundtrack album on vinyl, since the movie came out. So I'm intimately familiar with it, and it works so well. Now that I've seen the film, it's like all the pieces. The first track on the album is called Diamond Diary, and it's the music that plays at the beginning of the movie for the first break-in. And it's like every change in the song takes you to a new place in the film. And it's like I'm sitting there because the music is completely memorized in my head, and watching it play to this movie, and I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I was like, I was approving of Michael Mann's decisions, the way he cut it to the music.
Oh,
it's
dude.
like listening to Star Wars soundtrack before you see Star Wars.
Which I also did.
Oh, it works.
Yeah.
In fact, my dad said when I sat him down, we all went to go see it. We were on vacation. I'd been playing the soundtrack on a cassette player in the car on the road trip.
Boy.
We sat down in a theater in Milwaukee to finally fucking watch Star Wars. And he goes, "Oh God, I'm going to have to hear that music again, aren't I?"
But weirdly enough, I thought it kind of jarred because it was Tangerine Dream.
It really sticks out.
Really
But I
synthy,
feel like
really
you know what it is
80s.
though. I loved it for so many fucking reasons. Everything John said, but also if you think about it, it's weirdly a precursor to Drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In a
Oh,
way,
yeah.
like that kind of, it's that vibe, which to me is right up my alley, and I love it.
I was thinking of you actually, Jared, and I kind of thought of Drive too.
Or was Drive a pastiche of this film?
A little bit.
That's a thing.
I think it's an homage, at least.
The thing is, synth technology is such that you don't have to make it sound like a synth anymore, but
Mhm.
not back then.
Oh,
not in 81.
and by the way, not to because I can't
In
remember.
the
'cause
80s, they all
I was,
sounded like
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's kind of a problem.
but I'll bring this up because I think it's and I can't remember very well because I was 3 sheets to the wind. But Cold in July.
Yes, a little bit. Yeah.
No, that was all right. That was Carpenter, but it was synth driven though. That whole But you've got an 80s set crime drama.
Yeah.
The thing about Tangerine Dream soundtrack here is that it's got that 80s, so specifically first half of the 80s guitar tone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which Michael Mann loves. He loves it.
Like every episode of fucking Miami Vice had the same guitar tone.
Oh yeah.
Dude, like watch any Michael Mann movie in existence except for maybe Last of the Mohicans, and literally this dude loves the synths and the weird guitars, and they're drawn out and they're done over like sex scenes in the.
And they're loud in the mix.
Yeah, they're
Michael
loud.
Mann was behind Miami.
I'm thinking of what's the movie Risky Business? That's another Tangerine Dream soundtrack.
That's right.
There's that sex scene on the train, which is loud. The music's like in your face.
What about Blade Runner?
Vangelis.
Vangelis.
A little different.
Evil twin.
Yeah, but I think it's the same. It's the opposite side of the same coin.
Well, yeah, but Vangelis was more about like being loose on the keyboard, and where Tangerine Dream, they're Germans. They're Germans, and they got those sequencers.
No, really?
Just like boom, boom, boing, 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 boing.
More Kraftwerk.
But
a little more Kraftwerk.
But it's still cool synth.
They pulled a track. It's interesting. There's a whole album. There's a whole album of soundtrack music from Tangerine Dream that goes to this film. But they also pulled one of my favorite Tangerine Dream tracks from a record called Force Majeure.
Yes, they did.
That's when. Yeah, there you go, Chris. That's when they're driving around Chicago and the cops are tailing them. And it's a very distinctive piece of music because it has those weird trumpet riffs in it. Sounds like the cavalry's coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's great to describe because I can't use any of the audio for the episode. You know that, right?
Yeah, we'll get a takedown from YouTube, right? Yeah.
Also, going back to Jared's outfit, Michael Mann was actually at his peak in Miami. Everybody in Hollywood was beating a path to his door back then because it was Miami Vice was a cultural phenomenon.
Such a huge
I think it kind of not stand on his head in terms of like.
Well, by the way, this is not because of that. This is just. It's just a jacket.
But no,
yes.
it wasn't. It was not intentional, huh, Jared?
No. I showed up at Sandy's door one time, dressed like fucking Crockett. Like, what the fuck are you wearing?
No, that would nip that one in the bud, huh?
No, that's great though.
Yeah, Sheila's mom sewed me some jackets that had sleeves loose enough that you could.
T-shirt and an unconstructed.
Roll them up a little bit.
Unconstructed, like him, unconstructed, and like was it raw silk?
I was still figuring out my shit at that point.
Yeah, sure. We all had that.
Yeah, and then you just settled on band T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while.
Okay, Jim's Corner.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I've seen that many Michael Mann movies. I've at least seen what's the Hannibal Lecter one?
Oh, Manhunter.
We watched that.
We all watched that on the show. Yeah,
we did the show.
That was Tad's pick.
Great film.
Was that a Tad's pick?
That was Tad's pick.
I don't think I was here.
And I know Tad really wanted to talk about this one.
I think I missed that one too.
Aww.
Yeah.
Manhunter? No, dude, we were all here. That was like in the middle of COVID.
It was. Yeah, man.
Okay, I'll believe you.
Oh, I didn't rewatch it, but I've seen it a bunch of times. So
yeah. Anyway, I really enjoyed what's his name, who I only knew Persky, who I only knew from Homicide, Life on the Streets, or was
really?
And
no, I think this is one of his best roles.
The kindly projectionist in Last Action Hero.
But isn't he also?
He's
also known. Is he not? Is he Addams Family? Is that him?
I think
that's Christopher Lloyd. I thought.
No, he does, he does something, some kind of like.
Christopher Lloyd was Fester, and Prosky was Grandpa.
Yeah, I think
so. Oh, how funny!
Oh, that's right.
I think Prosky is.
He also runs.
I think he's a vampire or something
No, he's Grandpa.
He also runs the news department in broadcast news. He's the person that Holly Hunter says to at the little afternoon soiree. She starts telling him who he should make the lead anchor, and he says it must be nice to always be the smartest person in the room and know what's best. And she says, no, it's terrible. It's a great scene for Holly Hunter, but he's the boss. He's her boss.
I agree with Jim though. I think this is his best performance that I've seen anyway.
Oh, I mean, this one you notice him specifically because he's so menacing.
He still has that kind of goofy.
Yeah.
quality.
That's what makes him such a great bad guy, though.
But he's such a great bad guy.
He's terrifying.
He's really
It's brilliant casting because he doesn't look like he's going to be like that.
And when he makes him the offer, it sounds like a good offer. It's like, sounds good.
Yeah.
They even have like he hugs him at one point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But then when after he kills his friend and he's standing over him, it's the most terrifying thing you've ever seen.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
Anyway, just a great flick, I thought.
Okay, yeah. It was very entertaining.
All right, some things you guys haven't mentioned. No, none of you guys mentioned Willie Nelson, who I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah. And,
it was a good.
That's fine. He's fine.
So Willie Nelson has always been an old man.
Yeah,
apparently.
Right.
He even in his
just like Willem Dafoe. You know.
Yeah. He's a junior old person, basically.
I made a note that wow, 1981 was a really good year for movies.
It was.
Because Blowout, which we did on the show, was right around this time, and
one of your favorites.
Love it, except for Nancy Allen. She
sucks
major donkey balls.
I agree with everything you guys said about this. Is like a wind-up pitch for stuff Mann would do later. I mean, if you think about it, like that theme that he tends to run, which is these guys that think they're completely in control of their environment until they make one mistake. Like,
there's always a mistake.
No, it's over and over again.
This mistake, he goes and to go shoot that guy.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are, you fuck up a little bit.
And Khan's mistake is trusting this guy.
Yeah.
It reminds me the most of like Public Enemies in terms of like how it's structured.
We knew when he called him, he's like, okay, I'm in. We were like, no, dude, don't do that.
Right.
But there you go. Then you wouldn't have a movie.
Like
you wouldn't have a movie
at first, right? It's like I don't work with other people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I don't work for other
Well, which by the way, I loved. If you've noticed, it's based on a novel called The Home Invasions.
Uh-huh.
And during that first meetup, he says, I don't do any fucking cowboy shit, no home invasions, no.
That's true.
Which is really, I love that because it made me think like, because I love literature. Well, yeah, it made me think of literature. I'm like, I love when they do that, like a little teeny, just one line, and it's the whole title of the fucking novel or the whole book, you know?
Yeah,
but it's just this little tiny throwaway line.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to pick off what you said. Like the level of, they throw you into the middle of this world without a whole lot of exposition.
Oh, it's immediate arrest. Totally. I love
the way that the criminals talk to each other, the way that cops talk to each other. Like it's also very Michael Mann, like, tone Michael Mann.
You figure it out. You're
jumping into the world. A lot of detail.
I love any filmmaker that does that. This is the world, and you better catch up.
They waste I'm not gonna say waste. They spend like 5 minutes when Belushi's up on the roof trying to figure out which wire to tap into. 40 volt. Nope, that's a phone line. And then they get to the 20 volt. That's the one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you learn it while they're doing it.
2 more times to find the other 2 20 volt lines.
And the wonderful thing is it might all be bullshit. So who knows, right?
Yeah, but it sure is effective.
It's a movie.
We got the 10-minute warning, you guys.
Here we go.
Wait, hold on. For a 1981 movie,
10 minutes. We finish this up, and then we'll do the next one on the.
I'll pull the next one up. Yes.
The quality of the night photography. I mean, like the thing behind me, this stuff, like
it's great.
Shiny.
It's great.
He was pushing his film stock as far as it will go back then.
Yeah.
But also the color. You already saw his colors, by the way. Like even in the opening, the opening where there's a dude waiting in the car while Belushi is doing the wires and Khan is breaking into the safe. Michael Mann is already doing, like, the guy in the car, there's like this green beautiful color like popping out from the back, like it's amazing.
The thing is, this just depends on how old you are, but the scene behind Chris, that was all metal halide night lights. That was the cheapest way of getting a lot of light on things at night. And if you remember the 70s and even the early 80s, everything at night was kind of a pale green blue. Remember that?
Yeah.
Then they replaced it with mercury,
high pressure sodium vapor.
Then later, honestly, mercury vapor and everything turned orange. Remember that?
Orangey pink. It was weird.
Orangey pink was like
honestly now, you guys.
But
They're
now it's
doing
all
that on purpose. They're going back to that green.
Well, no, they're going to LED, which everything is just kind of basically just boring and white. But
they color it though. But they color it to look like that green and blue.
Well, it depends on what municipality you're in. But yeah, they've gone to full LEDs. They can do pure.
One more thing, because
also they can run forever and they're cheap.
That scene when Khan's just finished cutting through the door of the big safe door, and the camera gives him that moment to just like
Oh, he sits down and have a cigarette.
Like have a cigarette.
What a badass!
Satisfied with what he just did.
He's like, I just fucking did that.
To me, that was like a little moment in the film.
That's like a cigarette.
We'll talk about it in the next. We'll talk about it in the next half. That moment of pride for a job well done by somebody that doesn't emote very much. But this movie is.
All right, here we go. This is it.
Well, I wanted to say something else. We got 7 minutes left.
Okay. Damn, you're a daredevil, man.
Well, I just wanted to get back to the whole way that sort of Tuesday Weld's character and the relationship and the child. It's like that again. He had this very primitive understanding of life, and he made the mood board in prison. He's like, I got to have a little space here for the face of my wife, and here's a picture of a guy with a baby. So I'm going to have this stuff. He's going to buy a baby. He's going to drag a woman out of a club and tell her, "I'm going to marry you." It's going to be great.
It's all a contract.
And the movie, and I don't know if this is a criticism or not. The movie never rises above his understanding of what that is, because it's like
a transactional lifestyle.
It's transactional, and when things are going well for him, that's the message of the movie. And there's almost no dialogue. It's just like, here they are on the beach. They are happy. Frank Kidd's getting what he wants. His life is good.
His motivation for getting into bed with Prosky in the first place.
Right.
But also I guess
he's going to fast track all that shit for him.
Right. He says, I'm running out of time. I wasted those 11 years in prison. I don't have time. So yeah.
There's also like this aspect that Mann does, and we kind of touched on it already, but all the time where, the characters that we're typically rooting for have some sort of inner, like they have this integrity that they carry with them, or this kind of rule, or these like, and it's when
we have a code.
The code,
the
old West code.
And when he goes to collect his money, and Robert's sort of giving him the like, you're in the family now.
I invested it. He specifically said, don't invest it.
Yeah, that was the scene I used for the preview, is because I thought it was powerful. It's like, you're screwing me over, and he's like, oh no, I'm helping you out. It's like, oh,
and it's a great scene because you've got Khan saying, no, motherfucker. Like, I love how he specifically says, like, listen, I agreed to this. I signed up. Yes. It's my fucking blood. It's my sweat. It's my tears. You're profiting. Give me my fucking money, and we're done. Like, Mann is so good. And also, I just think that's good writing. And I love the whole, so that's like the character. I mean, John's right where it doesn't rise above, a certain thing. But to me, that is a bit of the magic of the movie in that scene,
Mm-hmm.
Even though, yes, it could have been a bigger film, of course. But I just mean that, like, to me, that's a beautiful moment.
Okay.
Right. Or of the character,
Yeah.
Mann's got a shtick, and he's right out of the gate.
Right.
He put his stamp on this, and he's been doing it over and over and over again. I think in sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, but he's got it.
And I think John points out a good thing where I think sometimes some of his movies go above the character,
Yeah, Heat, way up here.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're okay.
Although the wives in Heat are kind of treated the same way, aren't they? They're like accessories.
Let's admit he's not a big female character type.
No, he's not delving into their interior lives at all.
Let's do thumbs and get out, because I can do the next one.
Scott's all paranoid about the countdown. He's like, I'm not.
I know he is. You got almost 5 minutes left, dude.
No, just do it. Come on. Doesn't have to use.
We're gonna get to this one, but I think this might be my favorite.
What's on your thumb, John?
We've ever done, dude.
It's a Band-Aid. I sliced the tip of my thumb open.
These movies, Chris,
it makes it that much more powerful, actually.